Hey, what's up and hello. This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Well, let's get it started. Let's get it started. Hello, Brenda B. Hey, Ryder. Hey, Leo. I told you the Texas folks is embarrassing the heck out of y'all, but we're definitely about to get into it. So this is my review on Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup. Believe this is season 6, episode 19, DNA All the Way. If I had to rate this episode, I would give it a solid B. I would give it a solid B, not an A, but a solid B. Y'all let me know what you guys rate this episode. But we're going to get started immediately, especially because, we got to talk about this hussy. See, when y'all be seeing my thumbnails, it's because this is literally the stuff that I'm saying out loud when I'm actually watching the show. Okay, so that's what came to mind when I saw this disrespectful heifer hussy. So that's why I put it in my thumbnail. But let's get started with Paul Bunyan, Will, aka Courtnee. Child, Will is shaking and hyperventilating, acting like he's about to have an anxiety attack because Courtnee pulled up with her new dude and he feels like it's a slap in the face. And I'm like, because it is, because you decided to deal with her. You decided to deal with her, okay? Now, at the end of the day, at least he's willing to admit that she used him for money. He's willing to admit that out loud, okay? He also admits that he was lonely and a big dummy, and why did he go to that website in the first place, all right? And at the end of the day, we all know that she wanted Will to take care of her. That's it. That's all. While she did whatever she wanted to do. I personally think she had no plans of ever coming to Sacramento. She wanted that distance where she could have her allowance to still do what she wanted to do. And he catched on really fast. He's in there drinking some Hennessy and Coke. I'm thinking that's what he's drinking. And he's literally breathing in and out like he's about to go into labor. Meanwhile, she's ice cold, putting on her makeup and that horrible red lipstick that I just did not think looked good on her. And she's like, yeah, okay, I'm ready. It is what it is. Personally, I wouldn't have allowed her to see me sweat. But again, she knows how to get to him because she was the one who didn't care. And he was the one who was in love like a dum-dum. So at that point, she's laughing at this. And I don't know if she's intoxicated or just a wicked person or both. But she's happy that she pissed him off. She's ecstatic. She's like, well, it kind of worked out that way. Meanwhile, Will is trying to force Courtney to care. And he's wasting his time, okay? And so, you said Will was drunk. I think both of them had something in their system, potentially, because her eyes kept going low, like she was not here but there. But he wanted her to care. And that is the worst situation in the world, where you're trying to stress how you feel and no one cares, and yet you still want them to understand. He walks outside and he admits that they had freaky tales the other day. And I'm sure you paid her for that freaky tales too. I'm sure you did. I'm sure after that freaky tales was over, she was like, can I have an allowance? So at the end of the day, Will, you are bringing this on yourself. You knew what it was, and you still thought having freaky tales with her would mean that she felt some connection with you. She looks at that as a job for her. Let me give him what he wants so I can get what I want. Use what you got to get what you want. Bottom line. So at the end of the day, nothing gets resolved. I don't even know why we still have them on the show. I don't want to see this back and forth of her not caring, laughing in his face, and him sitting up there trying to stress how much he really cared and how much he really loved her. I need for you to have that energy right now with your family in Sacramento and screw her. She will learn her lesson. Trust me, we've seen it time and time again on this freaking show. So with that being said, let's move on to Latifah and Keith, okay? Latifah and Keith. Child, she is a smooth criminal. Do you hear me? You've been hit by a smooth criminal. That is literally Latifah. That whole attorney call where she said, okay, enough, step back, a pointless production move. But while she's cooking, she explains to us that this case is different from her other cases. Like plural, other cases from her past years. And she talks about how she has a felony for writing bad checks. And then, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to laugh. She lied on her food stamp application. I know that type of stuff happens, but good grief, like writing bad checks and then you're lying on your food stamp application. Baby, like, what is up with Latifah? Like, I think it's an addiction. Like, can she go to like Fraud Anonymous or something? Like, I think she just likes the thrill of hoping that she doesn't get caught. But how do you go from writing bad checks, 12, 13,000, I think she said, multiple bank accounts, cashing it out, lying on your food stamp application? So finally she went to prison, child, for freaking 8 months. And she only had one child, the child who always looks miserable. She only had one child at the time, and her parents took care of her child. But she's still continuing to do this stuff, allegedly. So at this point, she cooks for the family. Child, she made, I think she had like some chicken fingers, some rice, 2 little string beans, and some cornbread. And I was like, so much for them having enough vegetables on their plate. But anywho, so she sits up there and she feels like a proud mama cooking for the family. Of course, the oldest daughter is not there. And Keith's son thanks mainly Latisha, because that's Latisha's house, at least for the time being, it's a house, for providing a home for him. And it chokes her up. And honestly, I would do the same if a child says that to me, especially if that child has gone through a lot and now he feels safe and has some type of stability. But child, I think that's a false sense of reality, because I don't know if Latifah and your father can provide stability. She need to stop being a fraud, allegedly. So at this point, she mentions to Keith that she talked to her lawyer and they are suggesting a plea deal. But she's saying that she doesn't want to take the plea because technically what they're saying isn't true. What do you mean technically? It's either true or not. And then honestly, this conversation is starting to give me Yandy and Mendices, for those who watch Love and Hip Hop. That whole I held you down for all this time. And then now that the man gets out, he's like, well, if something happened to you, I don't know what I'm going to do. I ain't trying to hold down your kids, because she suggests that the oldest child has her father, but the youngest one that actually calls him daddy, his father ain't really there. Her father isn't really there, but at the same time, if something happens to her, he may fight for her. But if Keith adopts her, then he has rights. Well, help me explain that if she ends up going to prison, why he would fight for her then, but he wouldn't fight for the child if Keith tries to adopt her. Because I think legally, if someone is trying to adopt your child, he would have to know someone's trying to adopt her. So that didn't even make sense to me. And again, this could be a production scene, but he's like, well, we got a lot going on right now, so let's not even think about that. And I'm like, of course he doesn't want to think about that, because he doesn't want the responsibility. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Because, of course, StreamYard with a trifling selves. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Mic check 1 2 1 2. For those who remember that song, can you hear me? Please put a thumbs up if you can hear me. Please put a thumbs up if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Put a thumbs up. Okay, I see a yes. Yeah, okay. All right, good. All right, my people, my people. All right, I'm back. I'm back. StreamYard is being ghetto and ratchet. But anywho, so with that being said, he's like, yeah, we got a lot going on. Let's not even think about that. And of course, that would be the case because he doesn't want the responsibility. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Now, one thing about it is that I find it interesting, though, that she was crying and willing to hold his son down. Meanwhile, her older child looks completely sad and lost in life. Very interesting, but we do know there are women who are out there that will hold their man's children down and try to put more effort into them so they can be accepted than sometimes their own children. Not saying that Latifah is doing that, but I just don't feel comfortable seeing that oldest baby. I just don't feel comfortable seeing that oldest baby on screen because she looks like she is straight miserable. So with that being said, the next time we see her, honey, she is getting ready for court in this inappropriate dress. I'm sorry, maybe I need to have some type of etiquette class. And don't laugh at me. Yes, I act crazy and ratchet on here so I can completely have fun. But dang it, I know etiquette. And I definitely know etiquette when you are literally potentially about to fight a case and you walking in there with a split and all of this see-through stuff. Like, who the heck taught you that that's proper court etiquette? I'm confused. I'm really confused. But she's sitting up there, and I feel like this is another scene from production about the what ifs and what's gonna happen. And she's like, look, at the end of the day, just because we're saying we're gonna do a plea deal doesn't mean they're gonna agree to it. And if they don't agree to it, then we go on to trial. And she's like, you're gonna have to hold me down, and you better not sit up there and deal with any itches with a B. And he was like, where the itches come from? And she was like, I'm just saying. I'm like, okay, enough with this thing. Let's keep moving. So apparently she goes into the court, walks back out, and they have apparently accepted this plea deal. Okay, they've accepted the plea deal. Is that going to stop her? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to stop her. I'm truly thinking she's addicted at this point. I truly think she's addicted. And allegedly, apparently, rumor has it, I heard that she even scammed the dentist out of freaking Keith's veneers that he got. I just think she's addicted. I think she really is. I am hoping that she will stop after this, but who knows? Who knows? So with that, she decides to tell him she wants a wedding. Yes, we have another wedding plot, ladies and gentlemen, another wedding plot. The wedding in the jail wasn't good enough, so I want another wedding. Meanwhile, how are you going to pay for the wedding? Are you going to steal the wedding dress? Are you going to steal like the flowers? Like, what are you going to do? So at that point, he's like, man, you tripping. Like, we just got too much going on. And she said, you sat up there in jail and said, will you effing marry me? That wasn't romantic. And I'm like, but yet you still said yes. If that's how he proposed to you and said, will you effing marry me? And you still said yes, then baby, that's on you. So he was like, we married right now. What you tripping for? She was like, our anniversary is coming up. Unless you don't want to be married to me. Ma'am, the paper is still apparently there if you guys are legitimately married. So again, I am tired of broke people wanting these elaborate weddings. It just does not make any sense. You just got out of court for a plea deal for alleged fraud. You ain't got it. Girl, you allegedly stealing shoes. So what is the point at this point? Like, come on. At this point, I wouldn't be shocked if she's stealing bundles of hair, stealing baby hair, stealing nail glue. Who else knows what she'll steal? So she acts like she's upset while he looking at her phone, like looking at his phone, like he just don't care. Like, whatever, you tripping. And she's mad and she storms off. Is this a real storyline, y'all? I don't know. I really don't. I think that Latifah is trying her best to stay on this show so she can get some money in her pocket. But I honestly think, and let's talk about this. Do y'all think sometimes that people really want to get on these shows also, not just for the fame, but they're hoping that being on these shows can hopefully help them get out of legal situations? Do you think that's possibly the case? I'm starting to think that's the case because they think, oh, if I say I'm on this We TV show and I'm a celebrity or I'm doing this or I'm doing that, hopefully the courts will go light on me. Yeah, I'm starting to think that's the case. And I think Latifah is thinking that this will possibly help her as well. But baby, when she said that she lied on her food stamp application, I said, baby, that's rock bottom, honey. That is rock bottom. Your food stamp application, what else you doing? A fraud on your SSI? Like, what is going on? What is going on? Like, that house that she's renting looks very, very nice. But again, she's in Iowa. Okay, but she gives me vibes that she got her baby's names in her electric bill, her phone bill. Latifah gives that she will do by any means necessary and mess up her own baby's credit to get ahead. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not saying she don't love her kids, but people like that who definitely are just known to have a history of fraud, a lot of times they will do whatever they can to get what they need. Period. Exactly. The trife life. So with that being said, that was the end of their little nonsense. I'm quite bored with their storyline, but it is what it is. So let's move on to Zuzu and Troy, aka Blue Lange and Troy. I am just going to actually show these pictures because what the hell does Troy have around his neck? Help me understand. That is the most metrosexual. But you know what? This is the same guy who had no problem getting his booty steamed. And for those who remember that season when he first came home, baby, he had no problem sitting his booty on a steamer and getting his booty hole steamed. So at that point, I guess anything is possible. He likes beads. He likes all of this stuff that he's putting on him. But baby, it looks like a choker that your grandma will wear. Like, what is this? What is this? I don't get it. But anywho, let's get to the story of freaking Zuzu and Troy. So little Troy, first of all, is a cutie patootie. I'm sorry. She is a little cutie. And one thing that he said that caught me off guard is that he said the last time he ate duck was in jail. Last time I thought duck was actually pretty expensive. Like, you just can't get duck anywhere. When are they giving duck in jail? Like, is it just like leftover duck? Like, is it like the chitlin part of duck? Who gets duck in jail? And when he said that, I said, wait a minute, are people in jail eating better than people who work every day? Duck is not chicken. Like literally a lot of times you have to go to more upscale restaurants. Well, sometimes you can get them at the takeout, but I don't think that's real duck. They say it's duck on them takeouts, but I don't think it's duck. But a lot of times you have to go to like one of those like high-end restaurants to get some duck. But he said he had duck in jail. But anywho, let me move on. Now, in that scene, of course, they don't mention that she's pregnant, but then in the confessional, he's like, you sure you don't want to tell people about your pregnancy? And it's very obvious that in the confessional, she is super pregnant compared to that scene when they're at the dinner. So I'm like, production, would you stop with this nonsense? You cannot remake a scene where this girl is super pregnant in the confessional as if that literally was the day after the dinner. She's super skinny at the dinner, and you can tell all up in her face that she's pregnant in a confessional. But with that being said, Yana comes to pick up little Troy. And at that point, Troy goes outside to talk to Yana. And he's like, look, I love you. You know what I'm saying? You my baby mama. I'm always gonna love you. And I just want this to be just like chill or whatever. And she's like, I just want my daughter to be happy or whatever the case may be. And he said, and maybe one day you and my wife can talk and work things out or whatever. And she was like, nah, No. I don't need to have a relationship with her. What would be the point of having a relationship with her? I mean, at the end of the day, me and you talking as far as our child is concerned, that's good. Now, crew, help me understand. I cannot remember. Did we see like Zeruiah actually do something to Yana? Did something actually occur? We all know that Zeruiah potentially probably did some sneak stuff, but did something actually occur where we're at a point where we're like, we don't blame you? Like, we know that she off her rocker at times, but what did Zeruiah actually do to Yana and little Troy? Besides that scene when they was at the park and she told Zeruiah, this is the point where you're supposed to check your husband. Y'all need to let me know if I'm missing something, because when she sits up there and says, look, I just want to see my daughter smile, and Zeruiah needs to stay in her lane, my daughter isn't her concern, but I'm like, that is her stepmother. She's going to be around, so you would hopefully want to establish some type of relationship with her, because why would you want the beef? Because if there's beef between y'all, you may not want, like, you don't want that issue where your child is in the middle. And then she said, as long as she has breath in her body, there is no part of her that will want Zeruiah in her life. And I was like, wait a minute. And I was like, this is deep. She left Troy and the grandmother. Now, here's the thing. That was definitely wrong because she was making it about her. But little Troy was with her grandmother, and the grandmother decided because they was waiting too long to make their way back to Buffalo. But she wasn't there by herself. To me, there was a beef before that, because when she ended up seeing her at the get together, when she saw Troy, when Zeruiah saw little Troy for the first time, there was already something there. So I ask y'all, is it possible that Yana still is not over? Is still not over Troy? Is it possible? I just want to know, because I just feel like at this point, when she said as long as she has breath in her body, I said, well, that's kind of deep. That's kind of deep. And I'm like, what is it that she actually did to you or your child that would make you go that far? Unless that crazy mama of his has been causing a lot of drama too. You see what I'm saying? So it just, I don't know. Like, I feel like there is a way for them to coexist without any issues. You know what I mean? But when she said as long as there's breath in her body, I said, now that's some deep, like, you taking this to the grave type of stuff. I'm like, that's a little too much. Like, that's a little bit too much. So that's why I said, let me ask if I'm missing something here. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button, please, for your girl, so I can get into the algorithm. Thank you. You say, okay, so you feel like she still has something for Troy. You say, I think it's easy for Rihanna to be mad at Z but she can't be mad at Troy or she'll come off bitter. Yana ain't got no problem with Z like that. I think she's mad she wasn't chosen by Troy. Well, I mean, she did want to make sure that Troy knew that he broke, you know what I'm saying, her heart, and that was her first love. She wanted to make sure. That was the first time we saw her. You know, you broke my heart. You was my first love, but I'm over that. Well, if you're over that, why did you say it? Now, I'm not saying Zeruiah is innocent, by all means. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, there was something that was implied that Troy was playing games with potentially both of them in jail. Maybe he was saying sweet nothings to Yana, especially when him and Zeruiah had broke up, I guess, apparently during that time. But you can't be mad at Zeruiah for that. You got to be mad at Troy for that. But I think for her, like you guys are saying, maybe it's because she doesn't want to be completely mad at Troy because that is her baby daddy. So she just wants to blame it on Zeruiah. But either way, I'm just thinking like, girl, you're going to have to let go and forgive, especially if she didn't really do anything to you or your child. Because the reality is, one thing that we see is that little Troy loves her daddy. She loves her daddy. And the reality is he loves her from what we've seen. And she's going to be around. What about holidays? What about all of that stuff? You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, definitely Karen can be antagonizing a situation for sure. So with that being said, we find out they're having a boy. Congratulations, because personally, I don't know about Zeruiah having a girl. I just don't know. I don't know about Zeruiah having a girl. It's one thing to have Troy, little Troy, and her mother being her influence also. I don't know about Zeruiah having a girl, but they're having a boy, so good. Troy has, I guess, 2 boys and a girl now, so congrats to them. He calls his mama. Oh, you know this is production, because the reality is Karen is entertaining. She is a wreck, and she is entertaining as hell. So he's like, Mama, I need for you to come to Syracuse because I got to tell you about something. Mind you, of course, he's going to let her know when she sees Zeruiah that Zeruiah is pregnant. But of course, when Karen get in the car, she was like, what, y'all breaking up? And he was like, Mama, why would I have you come all the way out here just to say we breaking up? Well, I don't know. I'm just taking a wild guess. You grown. You can do what the F you want to do. Baby, we need more Karen. We need more Karen. Regardless, she is entertaining. She is entertaining, and maybe too, you know what I'm saying, at her own expense. Yeah, because she always seemed like she ha. Troy has a son, you know, he adopted, I think, Zeruiah's child. I think he adopted Zeruiah's son, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he definitely says dad, so I don't know, but I think he officially adopted Zeruiah's child. So that's why I'm saying the 2 sons, the one that's on the way, and Zeruiah's child, and then his daughter Troy. So at that point, child, they get to the actual house, the trailer, not the trailer, the mobile home. I'm sorry, y'all. That don't look like no lake house to me. It looks like a trailer home, looks like a mobile home. But with that being said, that's when their segment goes off. It's going to be quite interesting when we see Karen see that Zeruiah is pregnant and how she's going to act. But with that being said, let's move on to Justine and Michael. Like mother, like daughter. So, Sherry, the mother of Justine. Sherry that says Justine has always been a F up her whole entire life. Well, Sherry made the ultimate F up. Oh, yes, she did. Allegedly, Sherry was at work, intoxicated, drunk as hell, okay? And literally was drunk, going back and forth to her car, drank, and going back into the job, was messing up. Now, mind you, she's a nurse. Okay? She's a nurse. And messing up, not administering medication, all of that stuff, all right? And so they said she was so messed up. They escorted her out the door and told her to go home. But like dum-dums, they let her drive. But something tells me they escorted her out and called the police and just told the police to follow her, okay? So they ended up pulling her over. They give her a test, of course, and she gets arrested. They see multiple containers in the car, a wine bottle, all of that stuff, apparently, allegedly. And so now she has her license suspended, her nursing license. Your nursing license is everything. Just like a doctor, just like a lawyer. It's everything. Now, I don't know if potentially she is going to completely lose her license, but I'll say this, she ain't about to pay for Justine's wedding. That's for sure. She ain't gonna be able to afford it. And if you ask me, she probably was drinking back and forth because she probably in a lot of debt. But that's just taking a guess. Taking a guess. Like, who the heck is so messed up that you're going back and forth to your car and your job to drink? Something is not right here. It's not right whatsoever. So, but I'm going to get deep because y'all know how I am. And again, this is for entertainment purposes only. I don't know any of this to be facts. That's why I'm saying alleged to all of this stuff, but I can have my opinion. But with that being said, Mike is upset about being short for the wedding that they don't need. And Mike is saying that, at one point, 60,000, 100,000, he could make that in a day. It was nothing for him. And he's really upset because he feels like he bust his butt at this point for $3,000, $4,000 when that was pennies to him back in the day. Well, sir, welcome to the real legal world. Welcome to the real legal world, where in the legal world, you have to bust your butt for what would be considered chump change, or you have to live paycheck to paycheck. That is most Americans, okay? Welcome to the real world. He doesn't want to tell Justine what's going on. And interesting enough, he's coming off that he's scared to tell her because he feels like if he can't provide for this wedding and beyond, that she is going to leave him, which tells me then you guys never had a solid foundation in the first place. She was just happy about what you could provide for her. So with that, he ends up staying back. Look, his hair ain't even slicked back. He looked like he's so-called stressed out. Meanwhile, Sherry and Justine have a talk. So let's talk about this talk. First of all, Justine can't look her mother in the eyes. If y'all noticed that, she kept looking down. She kept looking all over the place, but at her mother. Maybe once or twice she looked at her mother, especially when the father was mentioned. But other than that, she was hesitant. I think there's something much deeper here. But with that, they're talking. Sherry's like, well, Justine, when you turned like 13 years old, you started to rebel. You started to get angry. And she was like, yeah, I know. And she pretty much said, a lot of that came from her father not being in her life. Sherry had a baby by a black man. He went off to the Navy and he was never present. Okay. And so at that point, Justine pretty much says she still feels that void. She still feels those moments where, she was waiting for him and being on the couch and he never showed up, and that she was angry or whatever the case may be. And Sherry, interesting enough, says, I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused as to why there's so much of an issue when he was never there to begin with. So why is there such an issue with her having a problem when he was never around? Sherry, it's making me wonder what your past is. It's making me wonder what your past is, because I don't care if the father was never around. Every child wants to know who their mother and father is. Every child wants a relationship with their mother and father. And because she never healed from it, she ended up pretty much not breaking the cycle. And I think you haven't healed from a lot of things either, which is why you brought it to Justine. Like, it's just generational curse just continuing to flow and go. I don't care if people who are adopted, and they can be in the best of the best family, the Huxtable type of family, and they're still curious as to what happened to their biological mother and father. I don't know if you guys know Run DMC, as in the DMC. He was adopted, and there was a whole documentary on him back in the day about him trying to find his biological mother. He had a great family growing up, but he still wanted to know where he came from. I think that's natural. And the fact that she's making it seem like I don't see what the big deal is, he was never around. Sherry, what is your past? What is really your past? And if you want to be honest, well, if you want me to be honest, this is my opinion. I think there's way more issues in her dad. My opinion, Sherry may have had a drinking problem for a very long time. And Justine saw a lot of issues with her mother and her drinking. Her mother just may have been functional for a very long time and it finally catched up to her. I'm not saying it's true. Again, this is all alleged, entertainment for entertainment purposes only, but it could be that she does not want to really go down deep on her issues with her mother. She has issues with her father, but I feel like there is something deep, 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 deep there, deeply there. Okay? Because who literally thinks it's appropriate to go back and forth from their car to drink allegedly back into their actual job as a nurse? Something tells me that wasn't the first time. She was just so intoxicated this time they were able to catch on. So yeah, I think Justine is really hiding some issues that she has with her mother that goes beyond her father. Her mother may have been a financial provider, but that's it. That's all. And clearly, maybe emotionally, she wasn't there. Because again, I was saying, look, she probably wasn't there because as much as she tried to be there for you, you just kept on effing up and you were so freaking angry and just rebellious. But at this point, maybe she wasn't there because she considered everything else as a priority but Justine. She may have thought putting her in dance and things like that would keep her occupied, but she never really had a relationship with her. Maybe Sherry's relationship with the bottle was stronger than her relationship with Justine, for all we know. We don't know. And there has to be something there when you are willing by yourself to spend $100,000 on a wedding. I want to know if she's still married. Y'all think she's still married? And if she is, you think she happy? I don't know. But between that $100,000 wedding, now I understand nurses make great salaries, but between that $100,000 wedding, taking care of her household, taking care of Justine, taking care of them grandkids, helping her get that house in Vegas, maybe her mother is stressed the hell out. Maybe. I don't know, but I feel like something is there. She couldn't even look at her mother. It was like she was like a child looking down. Like it just definitely gives, I don't know, y'all. It gives that there's something more. So I'm going to hold back on Justine because I don't know if she is able to articulate what she's upset with her mother about, or she's still trying to protect her mother, because that's really the only parent that she has had, and she's trying to protect her because she doesn't really want to expose really what she went through with her mother. Yeah, got to think about that, right? Got to think about that. And if she ain't still married after $100,000 on that wedding, see, this is what I'm talking about. I personally feel at times the bigger the wedding, the bigger the lie. You do not need $100,000 wedding. I don't care if you're a millionaire. You don't need all of that if it's really for the right reasons. But that's just my take on that. Meanwhile, child, Mike is asking his mama for $1,000. He's asking his mother for $1,000 and saying he will pay her back when he gets home. Do y'all think this is a production plot? Do y'all think this is a production plot? Because why would you ask your mother for $1,000 trying to make it seem like you about to make some type of illegal move to make some money or whatever the case may be on a national television show? What is that about? What is that about? Because he was making it seem like he was really about to go get a brick. Did y'all feel that when he was like, yeah, I'll pay you when I get back? I'll pay you when I get back. How? How are you going to have $1,000 back to her when y'all get back? What are you about to do? You ain't working right now. You on vacation. How are you going to give her $1,000 back? And why you got to ask your mama, what about your pappy that likes all of this bougie stuff that you claim that he likes? Why he can't give you $1,000? So I was just like, yeah, this seems to be a production move or whatever. But he really thinks that Justine will leave him if he can't provide, yeah, then that tells me all of that with the fake car that he bought her and all of that stuff was just a freaking facade. And I'm over it. But yeah, I think the biggest story in this situation is Justine and her mama. See, now that we found out that allegedly the mama has been arrested and literally potentially can lose her license already, the license is suspended. Baby, this is the biggest story. Production, you better get on it. But see, I don't think Justine is going to do that. That is her only mother. And if she exposed her mother the way there possibly may be a deeper story there, if she exposes her mother will lose it. As much as her mother act like she ain't got no emotions and she ain't there half of the time, oh, please believe me, Justine finally let everything out about how she really feels about her mother will lose her freaking mind on this show. But that's just my opinion on the situation. Is she gonna lose her license, baby? I don't know. I don't know. Rhode Island is a different type of beast, honey. Like, that's a small state. Potentially she could. And then if she better have enough savings, enough 401k and everything else, or she will have to move maybe to another state. Can people like that move to another state and reapply and be able to do what they need to do? I don't know. I don't know, but good grief. Let me tell you something. You can't say nothing about your daughter being an F up because, baby, you did the ultimate F up. You effed up potentially your whole entire life in a career that you worked on for how many years? She was even bragging, I think, the last season about how she was like an ER nurse. Like, she was like emergency type of nurse. Those type of nurses make a lot of money and they have to be on point all the time. Ugh. Absolutely not. But with that being said, y'all let me know what y'all think about that story. I think the ultimate story is Justine and her mama. But with that being said, let's move on. Oh, you guys are saying, yes, that's the real story writer. Absolutely. Y'all saying, nope, it's a wrap. Her license is gone. Yeah, production wrote that. This has been going on a while. Sherry going down bad stress. I feel for her. It could be stress. It could be that let's just say if she's never had a problem and now she's developing a problem. It could be financial stress. Let's be clear. There's a lot of people right now going through that. And they're turning to the bottle and other things to try to cope with what's going on. But never in a million years, to me, this is rock bottom when you're drinking apparently on the job and going back and forth from your car to the job. That's mentally, you're not there. So at the end of the day, I'm going to pray for her because like getting your license and being a nurse is no easy feat. It takes a lot. It takes a lot, just like a doctor, just like a lawyer. So hopefully she can bounce back, honey. I hope she ain't never been in no type of trouble before. But you know, if she has, guess who gonna find out? Social media. They're gonna find out. So I'm hoping she doesn't have any other priors, because if she has had previous situations where this has happened, it's definitely gone. But maybe by the grace of God, they gon' maybe suspend it for a couple years or something, and she can bounce back. But what the heck is she gonna do for a couple of years? She still gotta work. She gotta pay for Justine's household. But anywho, let's move on. Quiana, Damodrick, and Joella Jumanji, aka Felicia. Whoo, child. So let's get into this nonsense. So the demon takes Quiana to the investigator and the attorney. And Quiana talking about she's happy that he's present this time. And I'm thinking, like, why are you happy? Because he's the reason why you have to go here in the first place. And he's driving your car. Okay, but whatever. So Jumanji Joella ends up going to the senior Damodrick's daddy's house. And she's like, hey, sir. And he's like, hey, baby mama. And she's like, sir, I have a name. And I said, ooh. I said, she tired of them, honey. She tried to say as respectful as possible, sir, I have a name. My name is not baby mama. I have a name. So at that point, she's like, look, an investigator came to my house, and I understand that Quiana is all up in her feelings, and everything, but I wouldn't do that to her because she has kids, and you know what I'm saying, like, she takes care of business, so why would she do that to me? Joella, I just, at this point, I don't know, girl. So then the investigator tells Quiana and Damodrick that at this point, Joella wants all the money back for the property damage. And so Damodrick is like, I gave her money back for her tires. I did that immediately. And she's like, well, she's saying that there was some property damage in her car. Now, my question is, did we see any busted windows out of her car? Huh? You guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the like button on the way in. Did we see any busted windows? So unless that car was unlocked, how did they get inside the car? We saw slashed tires and dumb hoe written on the back of her window. How did someone get access inside her car? Help me understand. Did y'all see some busted windows? Because she definitely would have complained about some busted windows. How did they get in the car, Joella? How did they get in the car, Jumanji? These are the questions that I have. Am I the only one? So, meanwhile, Senior Damodrick is saying forgiveness is key. And I'm like, I agree, because I feel like this is really, really taking a toll on Joella, because to me, she really wants acceptance really, really badly, and she wants someone on her side. And then the daddy says growth is more important than justice. No, let me tell y'all something. Forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is definitely key, but you can forgive someone and still want justice. Now, we ain't talking about street justice, but there is nothing wrong with you forgiving someone but still wanting court justice, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. So we're going to stop with that nonsense, because you want to make sure you try to protect your trifling son. But at the end of the day, yes, I do feel that she needs to move on, because this is eating her alive. And at the end of the day, it clearly isn't going to get anywhere but hurt both of them. Hell, she got a Class B misdemeanor. So it's not like she's squeaky clean. So it's like y'all gonna be going back and forth. And for what? This fool who's really the common denominator in the situation? And I do feel like she made an emotional decision, just like I feel Quiana makes emotional decisions. She looked like she was about to cry when she was sitting up there talking to Damodrick's father, or she just makes stank faces. What do y'all think? Do y'all feel like she makes stank faces, or that's the way she looked, or was she about to cry? But she did cry in her confessional. And she was like, everyone makes her feel ugly inside or bullied. And I was just like, okay, well, if that's the case, Joella, you need to stay away from them, boo. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be clear, everybody knows Damodrick is the problem. But instead of putting blame on him for creating this drama between two women, they rather blame the one who's on the outs right now. Because let's be clear, if Quiana was on the outs right now and Joella was in, they would be treating Quiana the same way. They are protecting this fool. So the only way, Joella, that you can stop this is stop wanting acceptance from those fools and move on with your life. That's what you do. But you can't sit up there and keep trying to say, everybody trying to say like it's my fault. They ain't nobody on my side. I'm on my own side. Well, you know what? Be on your own side and keep it moving, because they have proven time and time again that they are willing to protect his BS. They're willing to protect him. So, but again, she's trying so hard to fight because, in my opinion, she still wants Damodrick. She's not willing to let him go. She keeps saying that Quiana is a conniving biatch. Baby, you looking like you're about the same. And guess what? Damodrick also. All of y'all are conniving. But someone's going to have to let go and be the bigger person and move on. And I think your grandmother gave you the best advice, but you don't want to hear it. So at that point, child, of course, the investigator tells her that Jumanji, Joella, wants to meet with her. And Quiana's like, no, I don't think so. All she gonna do is bark. I ain't trying to hear all of that. It ain't about to happen, right? So then at that point, here goes Damodrick. I mean, would you put a gorilla and a lion in the same cage? And I'm like, yes, I would. So they can both learn that you are the major problem and they're going to find out the truth. And so they can attack you. Yes, put the gorilla and the lion in the same page. Please do. Please do, because they need to get the timelines together and realize that you're the problem. But let me ask y'all this. Do y'all feel like Joella hates Quiana just because of the fact that she is now with Damodrick? Because when I see her face sometimes in that confessional, like, it's just, she has this anger, like she's a conniving bitch. And this, I'm just like, girl, like the emotions are still there. And like I said, I think it's deeper than these tires. I think it's deeper than these tires. Like, it is so much deeper. Is she just really is upset that no one is on her side, so she is just doing everything she can to get her get back. I think we have 50 people in the live right now, 50 people, and I only see 19 likes. Please, for your girl, get those likes up. Get your likes up. We have 50 people in the chat. I need 50 likes, please. So yeah, it's hard for me, Joella. Let's be clear. Damodrick is the problem, but Joella is holding on. She's absolutely holding on. And I think at the end of the day, if Damodrick said, I'm tired of Quiana, I want to be back with you, let's make this family work, she wouldn't care at that point who did it. I don't know. That's the vibes I'm getting. She wouldn't care at that point. She would not care at that point who did it, because at that point, she has gotten what she wants. And of course she feels played, because at the end of the day, he played her. And he's also playing Quiana. But Quiana don't care right now, because as long as she got that trifling, dusty fool next to her, she feels like she's winning. And does he have a job yet? I'm curious. We ain't seen this man at a job yet. Does he actually have a job? Or is she still paying the bills? And why are they matching? I just realized that. Do you see them both rocking blue? Don't tell me they trying to do a Justine and Michael. I mean, granted, she got a different design shirt, but they both got on that same type of blue. Don't tell me they trying to do the matching thing. Oh, Lord, no. Anyways, y'all, make sure y'all hit the like button. But with that being said, I just hope Joella, like I truly do. As much as I call her Jumanji, Joella, I truly hope she just lets go. Focus on her children. Hopefully, when she just gets Damodrick out of her system, she can find her another man, a better man. But maybe she feels like she can't find another man because she got like 2 of his kids plus another child. But that girl looks great to have popped out 3 kids. I would have never known that she popped out any kids. She got a great metabolism, honey, because she definitely is very small for her to have 3 kids. But I'm sure she can find somebody else in Lubbock, Texas. I'm sure she can. Shoot, Damodrick can't be the only fool out there. But anywho, let's move on to Brooke and JK. This hussy heifer. Whoo, baby. Pull that stuff with another family. Well, she did. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. Come on, y'all. Get them likes up. Get them likes up, because I know y'all waiting for this one. I know y'all waiting for this one. Get them likes up. Oh, my gosh. So, at the end of the day, all right, JK is still at Alex's house, and Alex is like, you coming here late at night and you didn't want to be with her, whatever the case may be. I'm done with you. Why don't you go back to your girl? And he's like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like real complicated. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And she was like, bye, JK. So JK drives off, child, and he sees that Brooke has called 11 times. And he listens to one of the voicemails, and baby, she sounds demon possessed. JK, answer your effing phone. And then she says, I don't know what you doing. You playing with your little peen. And I said, oh, so you literally sat up there and cussed him out and said that he's playing with his little peen. And you flipping out and acting a fool over a little peen. You doing all of this for a little peen. A short, eeny, weeny, teeny, weeny, shrivel, little, short, man, don't want. You tripping over this. You tripping over this. Now, one thing about it is Brooke is definitely the type that tries to control people by fear. That's definitely her. All the threats, all of that nonsense, she's definitely trying to control him by fear, and that never works for long. So he gets home and he tells his mama that Alex is pregnant. And is it just me, or did JK's stepfather age a lot since the last season? He's bald now. He's all gray. I'm like, did this show stress him out? Like, I hope on the health side he's okay. But at first, I was trying to figure out who that was. I said, who is this? I was like, wait a minute. That's the stepdaddy? His hair is gone. He's gray. I was like, see, this is what happened when you got a crazy heifer in your house. A crazy heifer in your house disrupting your peace, because he looks totally different. So the mother is like, good God, JK, I'm so disappointed in you. I done taught you better than that. I think you're better than that. And I'm like, no, he's not better than that. You want him to be better than that, but he still got an alleged substance problem. He's not better than that. So then at this point, which is quite interesting, he's in a confessional with his mama, and his mama actually says, if Alex tries to pin this baby on you. And I said, oh, you just said if Alex tries to pin this baby on you, so I guess the whole family knows she loosey-goosey. Because I said, well, that's quite interesting, because if you thought she was a good Southern girl, you would just automatically know that's JK's. But the fact that she said that, and he said DNA all the way, I'm going to do a DNA all the way. Interesting. So at that point, he says, look, if Brooke come by, tell her I ain't here. Mind you, his big old red truck is outside. And she was like, I'm not lying to her. He was like, just tell her I ain't here, mama. He knew she was on her way. And that hurricane hussy heifer walks up and knocks on that door. JK, you better open up this effing door. At his mama's house. The stepfather is like, oh, Lord, I hear her mouth. He ends up going to the door, and she said, where your son at? What you talking about? Where your son at? He ain't here. His car is here. He ain't here. He took a walk. His fat ass ain't walking nowhere. Where he at? No, he here. Excuse me. Barges through the door. Looks at his mama like she ready to fight her. Where your son at? Where he at? And then the mother look at her like, I know you ain't having this tone with me. My tone is calm. It's as calm as it's gonna get. First of all, let it be in my family house. The moment you tried to barge through the door, there would have been several people stomping you out that door. You ain't about to disrespect the mama's house. And they in Texas too? Were they licensed to carry? Are you crazy? They can carry literally on their hip. And she was like, where he at? He in the shower. He been in the shower all day. And she was like, I don't know. I've been at work. Mind you, Brooke is acting like she paid the bills in that house. And this mama's answering her questions like she has to answer her. So then at that point, she decided she gonna walk to the bathroom, and the stepfather get up and was like, man, hell no. I got neighbors and everything else. And she knock on the door, try to open up the door. The door is locked. She say, oh, all of a sudden you shower with the door locked now? He opened up the door and she's like, where the hell you been? I've been calling you, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, why you sitting up there acting crazy like this in my mama's house? And literally she was like, you know what? I don't care. You need to sit up there and answer the dang on phone. And then the stepfather's like, you need to stop screaming in my house. She said, hold up. I'm trying to have a conversation. She literally told pretty much the stepfather to shut up in his house because she trying to have a conversation with the toothless brokey and her broke behind. And so at that point, he was like, why you screaming like this in my family's house or whatever the case may be? And he escorting her out the house. She was like, then you need to answer the dang on phone. I mean, she's saying, of course, the GD, but I ain't gonna say it. But she cussing and fussing in the house. When I tell you, even they dang on dog is tired of her. Look at that dog. Look at that poor little dog. That own dog was like, can she just shut up? Can she just shut up and literally get the heck up out this house? She disrupting the dog's peace. She sure did say hello. Didn't I say literally last season she the white Medea? Didn't I say that? I could have sworn I said that. Don't make me pull it back. I said she's the white Medea. I literally said that. And so at that point, they like, this is a toxic relationship. He gotta go and she gotta go. She can't be acting like that in my house. Well, guess what? You've allowed it for a very long time. And it's very clear that Brooke's mama didn't teach her no home training. No home training. That's exactly why she act the way she act. I wouldn't be shocked if her own mama act that way. Make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button because she had to learn it from somewhere. She had to learn that craziness from somewhere. It's that mama. And I wish she had much more. All of this, 11 phone calls, knocking on his freaking door. From my understanding, they don't live that close together. If she put half of that energy into her own kids, how many times have we seen those kids? At this point, I would say this is grounds for her to lose custody of them kids if she really got custody of them. I wouldn't be shocked if her parents got custody of them. I wouldn't be shocked. This is showing that she's unhinged and she's unstable. And let me make this very clear. I don't condone any parent leaving a child because that child did not ask to be brought into this world. But I'm going to take a guess in that Brooke is the reason why those baby daddies are no longer there. She's crazy. And I don't know. I just don't know. Like, I think that they probably said, I can't even deal with that. Don't make an excuse for it because they still should want to be able to take care of their kids. But as crazy as she is, can we kind of blame them for not wanting to be around her? I don't know. So then they finally go outside and she's like, where you been? And he was like, man, I was chilling. I was chilling at the house. And you ain't chilling at the house. You wasn't chilling at the house with them because they been at work all day. You're lying. You're lying. Where you been? You know what I'm saying? I had to go to Alex's house. What the F you mean you had to go to Alex's house? What you had to go to Alex's house for? You were supposed to be telling your daddy not to even talk to Alex and talk to his and the kids, and you sitting up there going to Alex's house for what? Well, you know what I'm saying? I guess I need to tell you. Yeah, tell me what? Let me tell you something. Whew. Brooke gives me Snap vibes. Brooke gives me first 48 vibes. Brooke gives me that you better sleep with one eye open vibes. I think it's safe for him to tell her on camera Alex is pregnant. Because if he told her off camera, we don't know where the body would be, in my opinion. Because this girl, in her eyes, she ain't there. And lo and behold, right before he tells her, or we think he's going to tell her, the popos show up. Now, personally, I don't think the popos is about to arrest her. I don't even know if the popos actually got called because of her. This could all be a bait and switch because of production. But either way, the popos is outside and she's like, oh man. But some tell me Brooke has possibly been arrested or handcuffed before. She just gives me unhinged. She gives me that she will disrupt public peace. That she will literally like make sure that all hell breaks loose and literally people will have to call the police on her just so she can leave. She just gives me those vibes. And then of course the episode goes off. Look, y'all. Look, seriously. This girl, she's toxic. And let's be clear, JK is toxic too. But the fact that she's doing all of this for a man that apparently still can't allegedly stay clean, don't apparently work sometimes, maybe work sometimes work. She literally is now a freaking Uber Eats DoorDash driver. This is what she does for a living because she can't keep a job. And your priority is literally trying to track this man down every time he goes somewhere. He doesn't answer his freaking phone. I personally feel like DoorDash and Uber Eats is the only job she's willing to have because she can set her own schedule. So in between that she's actually delivering food, she can chase him down. Like seriously. Kashari is like, girl, yeah. Like, but honestly, she gives me the vibes that she would be the one who does the DV. That's the vibes that she gives me. She gives me the vibes that she would do the DV. She would put her hands on a man, and when that man returns, she will sit up there and cry victim and then sit up there and get him arrested. Y'all know there are people who are out there who are like that. She will sit up there, stump, kick, fist, and everything else. And then literally, if he dares, does something back to her, he's going to jail. Period. Yeah, I wouldn't want to eat anything Brooke delivers either. She give me the vibes that she's just trifling. Like, she clearly don't have no friends. You notice that there's not one friend yet that we've seen when it comes to Brooke. The only friend that she claimed she thought she had was JK's friend and ex in the first place. Like, seriously, something is wrong with this girl. And I think her mama knows it. Hell, it's probably hereditary. But the disrespect that Hussy gave to that household, at this point, I don't even know why the mother and the father would even give her another opportunity and another chance. Oh, yeah, if you give her a bad tip or no tip at all, she would definitely be the type to do something. Definitely be the type. We done seen those videos where people throw the food, stump on the food, or take the food and they eat it themselves, or take a bite out of the burger and give it to that person. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She definitely gives those vibes. When I tell you, I was looking at this and I said, unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. Like, her mother and her father should be super embarrassed. But again, something tells me that she learned it from somewhere. She did. Oh, yeah, I think that was the housemate. The other lady, and she wasn't saying nothing. But let me tell you something. It looked like they was all scared of her. Because first of all, there is no way in the world why that girl is putting her freaking hands on your clean walls like she owned the place, like where your son at, and you sitting up there shuffling them cards like, excuse me, don't come at me with that tone. Baby, let me tell you something. My mama would have slapped that girl so fast she wouldn't have known what hit her. Before she could even get in the door, there would have been a stomp out. Coming up in my house, sitting up there talking about something, where your son at? Are you crazy? Like, you pay bills in here when you can't even pay for your own bills, can't even pay for your own kids. So that was the end of the episode, and we're going to see what happens. When does this season end? I feel like this season is coming to an end soon. Like, I feel like before October is over, the season is going to be over. I feel like the season's about to be over. So I think we're coming to a close on this season. Brooke didn't even say hello. Just exactly. She didn't say hello. She said, JK, open up this effing door. Where your son at? And just barged in. And then literally pretty much told the stepfather to shut up because she was trying to have a conversation. The next episode is the last one, Leo. I knew it was coming. I feel like it was coming to an end. But apparently, allegedly, rumor has it, Alex's baby is JK's. Did y'all hear that? Now, I ain't want to gossip. I don't know how true that is. But allegedly, apparently, Alex's baby is JK's. So, did they break up? Brooke and JK? Like, honestly, I don't think Brooke would ever break up with JK. It's going to have to take JK to break up with Brooke. That's the rumor. That's the rumor. That's what I've seen float around, that apparently Alex's baby is JK's. Now, I don't know how true it is, but that's apparently the rumor. On the YouTube and social media streets, I saw a couple of times and I said, oop. Now, y'all know I don't do the investigations like that, but I do try to bring to y'all what I've heard. Rumor has it that is the case, that she actually is pregnant and is JK's, or maybe she had the baby and is JK's. I don't know. But then remember, they were trying to say Brooke was pregnant. So, Chad, who knows? Who knows? But it's going to have to take JK to break up with Brooke and put a restraining order on her. And I would say this episode especially was enough to actually be able to get that restraining order. Because she unhinged. She is definitely unhinged. Well, you know they will be back for another season. Unfortunately, they will. Unfortunately, they will. Baby, they got Texas looking so bad. Texas is looking bad. Do you hear me? But I ain't mad at Texas because I definitely have no problem going to Texas to eat some good old barbecue and some good old food. But let me tell you something. Texas, y'all down for the count on this show. In freaking, what is it, Mart, Texas? Is it Mart, Texas? Mart, Texas, and LaBook, Texas. Both, they looking bad. Looking super duper bad. Poor baby, if it's true. I'm telling you, looks like the type to be like, this relationship's over when I say it's over. Exactly. Which means a restraining order would have to be involved, and they need to get cameras all over their house to make sure that she ain't looking and stalking the house in her car and staring inside the house or something. So, I mean, she definitely gets vibes that you're going to have to get the law involved for her to leave you alone. You know what I'm saying? Now, the reality is, if JK was just a man and just said he didn't want to be with her, or just a man and say that he ain't ready to be in no committed relationship and would have left this nonsense alone a long time ago, we all know her issue is that she knows that he's still playing games and playing around. It's just how she's going about it that makes her cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know what I'm saying? So, yep, Mart, Texas, and Brooke, sundown city of Aquila. You saying it's a sundown town? I heard about them sundown towns. I'm sure it is. I already said Mart, Texas. How many folks that look like me is in Mart, Texas? Sundown city of Aquila. I don't know, child. I don't know, because if you haven't noticed, we ain't seen not one black person in the vicinity of that whole entire, anytime they have their scenes, I ain't seen not one black person even pass by. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But with that, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. So Aquila apparently is a sundown town, y'all. A sundown town. Now, Waco, I heard, got a lot of black folks. High Five, the R&B group High Five, come out of Waco. They actually say crazy things like Waco is something about how people from Waco was crazy. And I don't know how true that is, but considering the fact that one of those High Five members ended up unaliving his own baby mama, apparently they say Waco got some crazy folks. And I know Waco got black folks because High Five come from Waco, Texas. Mart, Texas has some of us there. Oh, okay. Mart has some of them. Okay. Either way, I don't plan on visiting, that's for sure. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys so much for listening to your girl. Y'all know I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I appreciate y'all. Y'all always look out for your girl. Make sure you hit that likety like button. And let's continue the conversation below about all of these couples. But let's really talk about this craziness with Brooke and JK, and Brooke being so disrespectful. But also, let's talk about the Justine and Michael and Sherry situation. We got a lot to talk about, y'all. So let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles.